The funny thing about this Madam Web movie is, you know, Sony made this movie in response to the Marvels. Okay, you had a all-female team-up movie in the Marvels, and everyone thought, at least in the industry, because they're very out of touch and they don't really understand what people actually want anymore. They're trying to, in a way, tell you what you want. But Madam Web was totally made in response to the Marvels. Sony, for some reason, thought the Marvels was going to be a massive hit and make a lot of money, and they wanted to ride that wave. That's why Madam Web is coming out and even exists. They said, oh, this movie's in development. Let's get this one out there. At least that's my guess. It makes sense. Well, unfortunately for Sony, the Marvels was a catastrophic bomb, as will be this movie, I'm going to guess. Now, they could have saved this movie. The rumor that hit yesterday or 2 days ago is that Andrew Garfield was going to be in the movie as Spider-Man, which would have been a genius move. That would have actually saved the movie, and probably, I don't know if it would have made it a hit because, you know, I was dead wrong about The Flash. I thought the Batman himself, Michael Keaton, being in that movie would have propped it up. But nope, still flopped. Flopped hard. I think Ezra Miller had a lot to do with that. But, you know, let's stay with this movie for now. Because of that, it's hard to say if that would have helped the movie a lot. I think it would have definitely pushed it over Morbius and maybe that would have made it about as profitable as the first Venom movie. I think that's a fair estimate. It wouldn't have been a smash mega hit, but it would have done okay because I think enough people like Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man thanks to No Way Home, and Spider-Man is a draw to some extent. He's the most popular superhero in the world, so just having him there, I think, would have had people curious. However, not only did they decide to not do that, they're now coming out and saying that this doesn't tie any shit. So the possibility that this is going to kick off some kind of Spider-Verse, that's not going to happen. That would have been a reason to maybe try to get people to go see this. Like, hey, this is what starts it all. This is the start of a Spider-Verse franchise, and you're going to see Spider-Man 4 with Tobey Maguire. You're going to see The Amazing Spider-Man 3 with Andrew Garfield, and a Tom Holland movie, and a Spider-Man 2099 movie, and all this shit. And they all come together for an amazing live-action Spider-Verse movie, but you've got to see this first. Well, that's not going to happen. Now, the director, appropriately titled here, puts final nail in film's box office coffin, confirms Spider-Man spinoff takes place in a standalone world. AKA, this movie doesn't matter. It doesn't star Spider-Man. There is no connection to Spider-Man, even though the movie, I guarantee you, will have Spider-Man Easter eggs up the ass. None of that matters now. Don't go see this movie. That's what this says to me. And it also says it to anybody else that was maybe thinking about seeing this. This movie is going to be, I think it could make less money than Morbius. That's a possibility. And maybe the good thing about this is maybe Sony will stop making these fucking standalone Spider-Man movies without Spider-Man. Kraven is going to be another one, too. I'm going to laugh at that movie when it fails as well, because nobody wants to see Kraven in his own movie. So stupid. If you wanted to do a Kraven movie, do Kraven's Last Hunt. Crazy idea. What? You really want to do a good Spider-Man Kraven movie, you make that movie rated R. But they're not going to do that for obvious reasons. Spider-Man appeals too much to kids to make that an R-rated movie, though we can dream. So here is the exact quote. This was, I think, to Deadline. I don't know who he was talking to, but She's definitely in a standalone world, explicitly confirmed Clarkson. I was able to just have free reign and let the movie be what it needed to be as opposed to trying to force it into something else. That was a gift and a way to be able to take something and bring a fresh and I hope original take to it. It's definitely original because this is the real Madam Web, who, of course, looks nothing like Dakota Johnson. Dakota Johnson, a beautiful, flexible woman who does not require a living machine, like a life support system hooked up to her, who's also paralyzed and blind. So I'm really surprised the crazies on Twitter X aren't crying ableism and ageism and shit. They did do that for a minute, but I'm surprised they're not still doing it. Because I thought this was going to be Julia Carpenter, not Madam Web proper. But no, they went with the actual Madam Web. Of course, that looks nothing like her. I like comic book accuracy. If you're going to do the original Madam Web, this is what she should have looked like. But they're not going to do that. She shouldn't have her own damn movie in the first place, to be honest. But anyway. Clarkson appears to frame the decision to exile Madam Web from Marvel's cinematic universe as purely a creative one. Given a recent whisper on the digital street, it seems more likely that the movie was decided upon thanks to Sony execs absolutely destroying both the film's internal and franchise timeline in service of chasing marketing synergy with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. According to the In Snyder, which is run by Jeff Snyder, who first relayed the rumor on John Roca's The Hot Mic, he said that Andrew Garfield was going to be in it and they took him out, which is what I was saying before. And they were going to put Tom Holland in it, and then they decided not to do that. And then they decided to just reshoot it to make it so that the movie doesn't have Spider-Man in it, which is dumb. Really dumb. But at least it's not going to be set up now. She was actually the first Spider person or all that, any of that bullshit. But, man, Sony is run by morons who sometimes do things right. Like No Way Home. It's right. Totally good movie. It's got problems, but I love that movie. I don't care about its problems, to be honest. I like that movie so much. It's so much fun. But, you know, then they then they decide they're going to make garbage like this, and it's like, just stop. Listen, you can have the best of both worlds. You really can. You can have the Tom Holland MCU Spider-Man, and you could also have your Spider-Verse world where you have these characters and Spider-Man's in these movies and have Andrew Garfield do it. You can totally do both. But doing these movies without Spider-Man and acting like he doesn't exist is stupid and dumb, and it honestly defeats the purpose. Because it's not him. His villains aren't great without him. That's just not going to happen. They exist to make him better. So this has always been a dumb decision. The only time they even got it right, kind of, was with the first Venom movie. And they've proven that they can't maintain that because Venom 2 was shit. Venom 3 will likely be shit. And because the Spider-Man's not in it. It just doesn't work. So, if you wanted to turn Venom into an anti-hero, you could have had him be the villain for a while and then spun him off into his own movie and become his own thing. But it needed to be done that way. There's just no other way about it. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comments below. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell. Check out my Rumble and Locals, and I will see you on the next one. Peace. Make sure to check out my Locals. There's a link in the description. It's a fun community that I'm trying to build over here. If you don't want to support me on YouTube, you can come over here. None of that money goes to YouTube. You also can just come over here for free. But if you are a supporter over here, I do plan on doing an extra live stream once a month and throwing links to the supporters so you can actually come on and have a supporter live stream with me. Also, it's a good place to catch all of my content. You don't have to worry about notifications like YouTube. They'll definitely work over here. So come check out my Locals.